Away from the East and Central Africa straight to West Africa, we're talking about Nigeria now. Now, the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control has attributed the rise in counterfeit products in Nigerian market to porous borders, poverty, and human desperation, so to say. Now, the agency noted that it has continued to work closely with relevant agencies to ensure that that counterfeits are completely wiped out from already saturated markets. Our correspondent, Adeshewa Odushoga, provides more insight into this situation of things in this particular report that we're about to see.
The social media went agog after a video of the officials of the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control cracked down on an illegal factory in Abia State. The market known as the Ezioku market was shut down by the agency after uncovering a vast network of counterfeiters producing and selling dangerous fake beverages. These products, according to the agency, are worth more than 750 million naira. In reaction to this, many Nigerians on social media, in fear, began to sift through for similar brands and corresponding products in their homes, as seen in the video clip, to verify their authenticity and safety for consumption. A medical expert who spoke with News Central highlighted the threat that these counterfeit products pose to the health of average Nigerians amidst the cancer scare and the rise in organ failure.
We are not even sure of how preserved these drinks are. We are not sure of the kind of chemicals they are using. So the possibilities of damaging the body is limitless.
Since the video went viral, many Nigerians have faulted NAFDAC, alleging that the Nigerian market is now saturated with fake products ranging from food, drinks, and even drugs. However, the Director of Chemical Evaluation and Research for the agency, Dr. Leonard Omokpariola, has since faulted these claims in an interview with News Central.
Our borders, number one, are very porous. Number two, added to that is very terrible and endemic poverty in the country. It is also possible for people to fake NAFDAC registration number. The only problem is this. Let me tell you, please, I don't want to this. The only problem is this. They do not know that NAFDAC is always head. Many of them. Whatever registration number pattern you think you saw before, we can decide to change our pattern. We knew when we registered a product. How do you know which one is fake and which one is not fake? That is why we put that yellow page now in those Play Store or iOS Store and the rest of them. You can easily download it. It's free of charge. By putting the name there, if it is number, put the number there, it will tell you. Even if it's the manufacturer, put the name of the manufacturer there, manufacturer so and so. The product register, but it will put it there. It will show.
Trending with more than 60,000 posts on social media, Nigerians have continued to raise awareness with the tag fake product. Many brands are now faced with a threat to their reputation and image, as consumers out of fear are now equating their brands with the possibility of buying a counterfeit. Adeshewa Odushoga, reporting for News Central.
Well, that was the report extensively and brilliantly put together by Adeshewa Odushoga. Bernard, I must tell you, this trend, as dangerous as it is, has also been very funny, right? We also found out that in our makeup studio here in this building, one of our Vaseline products actually turned out to be Vaseline.
Hey,
and it was very funny because, I had a lot of, people telling their stories, even close to home. I checked some of my products and it wasn't productive.
I think everybody, and that was the first question I was going to ask Adesha when she eventually comes on the screen. If we can have Shewa, are you there with us? I was going to ask you and Shewa particularly, which of your products did you check and which one turned out to be fake and not fake?
Okay, luckily. So I think personally, right, I don't do a lot of stir frying. So this Amoy Amq, I didn't see any of that. But
so
yeah,
just as Belle Blessing said, it was a popular.
Shewa, were you affected?
And then no, I wasn't affected. Luckily for me, it was a popular lip balm that Blessings rightly mentioned. So the moment I saw it on the X platform, the former Twitter social media platform, I immediately rushed for my bag to be sure that I had not been, swallowing something fake. over the years. So, I mean, I was lucky enough to see that mine was actually the original brand, but it's not the same for many Nigerians, because as funny as this trend is, it's quite worrisome. And in my conversation with the director at NAFDAC, I mean, we know that in Nigeria, we know these government agencies to not be wanting to, carry the responsibilities of some of these inadequacies that go on in the country. But we need to also point fingers at the agencies like NAFDAC and the Standard Organization of Nigeria, because we have trusted them enough to know that, okay, I mean, everything that you find in Nigerian market must have gone through these agencies, these agencies of the government, and we want to be rest assured that it will not pass through Nigerian borders without SON, for instance, knowing that these things are coming into the country. And NAFDAC, one of their responsibilities, is to regulate food, drugs, to know their authenticity, to know their standards, to know their safety for human consumption. And if we're having to go through this, it looks as though we have more of these fake products than the original ones, because, like, particularly the soy sauce that Blessings was making reference to, we have more people that had the fake ones in their kitchens than the original ones. So much that even supermarket, the most trusted supermarket that a lot of us visit, have these fake products on their shelves. So it's less for us to wonder. And then, I mean, the doctors have rightly said it, that some of these fake products that we consume are highly responsible for the high increase in organ failure in Nigeria.
Yeah.
We've covered the same story here in New Central, where we see that there is now like an illegal trade of organs in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory. That's even one that is very disgraceful, because it's closer to the government. And we are talking about the federal authorities here. And then the questions I've asked doctors over the years, that why are we seeing an increase in organ failure than it used to be in the past? Because it looks like there is a market. People's organs are failing. They need a replacement. Now, some people, they cannot get it just easy. So some people are going through the black market to get these organs for those that might need it for a huge amount of money. While, I mean, we've seen 17-year-olds having their organs been removed illegally just for as low as 1 million naira. So why are we having organs failing in the first place? And one of the root causes of these things is consuming fake products. And nobody's taking responsibility for these things, because this is the same health sector that we are saying that its capacity is reducing by the day. Many of our doctors are leaving the country en masse for greener pastures, for a better working environment. Now, the few ones that we are even lucky to have staying in the country are now left with the burden of the already dilapidated health sector. Now, adding, the consumption of fake products to it is not something that we are supposed to be laughing about, because in another 10, 20 years, we are seeing 20-year-olds being down with kidney failure, liver failure, failure of the lungs. These are life-threatening, illnesses. And life expectancy in Nigeria is reducing. And then the latest one is now 44 years. Imagine having an average Nigerian, if you're lucky enough to live past 44 years old, and you're one of the very few lucky ones, it means that you're not expected to live beyond the age of 44.
That's actually very, very sad and worrisome. I was going to ask this next question. I mean, who are we now to blame for these fake products or dupes, like someone called it? Someone did actually try to say on social media in justification for these products that some of these products are not fake. They're just dupes, because some people would rather go around and pay the fine for, the errors or mistakes in spelling, which was intentional from their own end, than going through the bureaucracy of having to check the products and all that. So that brings the question, who do we blame? Do we blame these regulatory agencies for not doing, thorough investigations, or do we blame the manufacturers of the products for not going ahead to check the market to see if their product is being duplicated? Or do we blame the retailers who just buy these things wholesale and do not even check? I mean, we're talking about trusted supermarkets here, places that you buy things that you feel like, oh no, they can't sell fakes, they can't sell dupes, and then you find out that that's where it's even more. Or do we blame the consumers who literally just trust the product because it has the same colors, the same taste, the same everything, just a spelling error, and they've not even noticed until now that the trend started? So who exactly do we blame?
I don't think we should blame the consumers, because, well, over time, there's this practice of people not trusting any Nigerian-made brands. We've seen advocacies over the years anyway. there are some campaigns and saying, buy Nigeria, grow Nigeria. But with this recent trend, I mean, what would you tell now to buy Nigeria and grow Nigeria? Because for a few of us who have tried to even patronize our friends who are fashion designers, Blessings, I think you know better. Some people would even, there's this trend of what I got versus what I got. Now we're now talking about food. So, I mean, the Nigerian brand is out there to after my life, and then the foreign brand is there, giving me the authentic thing. So this is just further, it's just going to further dampen the PR that Nigeria is even struggling to get in the first place. So me as a person, I'll probably not even trust anything that's coming out of Nigeria anymore. So for the manufacturers who are actually producing something good, but would rather, hide under the known brands just so they can get people to buy from them. This is coming from this what has to be from the agency themselves, because we know how these agencies operate. Now, yesterday, the Director General of NAFDAC was saying in an interview at one local TV station, saying that they have like a personnel deficit. They're expected to have about 16,000 or 6,000, and then they have like just 2,000, and then they have deficit, so they need to recruit more people. Whereas on their website, they're saying that they are not actively recruiting. We have millions of students of biochemistry, microbiology that are relevant to these agencies that are now everywhere looking for jobs. Many of them have gone as far as baking cakes just to make ends meet. Now you say you need more personnel, you need more officials to bridge the deficit that you have, but you're not actively recruiting. So I mean, I don't think that's any fault of ours to start to deal with. You're not just doing your job. Because if you had been doing your your job, if you were not making things difficult for local manufacturers and producers, they would not want to hide under known brands. We see these things happen even with clothing brands too. There's a lot of people who just have to add more letters just because they know that Nigerians will only buy a particular brand, and they can make clothes, they need to make sales. So they rather just make like a dub of that particular product just so they can sell to you. But it makes sense if it's just clothes. It makes sense if it's just shoes or bags. But when we're talking of foods, there's so many things that are at risk here. So food, drugs is something not to ever joke with. Plus, since these people are even making like fake products of baby foods. Babies, these are people whose immune system are still very weak and still trying to struggle, to even deal with what you even have that are even original in the first place. How do you now explain having fake baby foods?
It's very scary, to be honest. And, looking at it again, like someone did say on social media, now we're in festive period. We have people who have stocked their houses and their pantries with drinks. So imagine people having a truckload of drinks, stocking their houses with drinks and food, and more than half of that being fake.
And really, do you expect them to toss it out in this economy? A lot of them, in fact, I have a friend who says she's not going to check her own soy sauce until she's done using it because she spent money on it. And that's the sad reality, because the dilemma, Shewa, like you were talking about how Nigeria will, produce the fake quality, and then, the other Western brands will give you good quality. But the pricing is different, right? Nigerians will give you something cheaper. And because of the economy, you don't blame people for rushing the Nigerian market, because we would rather go for something cheaper more affordable, and some would even say, yes, is substandard, but it's not fake. They just try to like justify it in a way, because you can't explain how you're spending so much money because you want to buy original.
Many of these problems even start from being so largely dependent on importation. If we need to reduce this import dependence, so we know that Nigerian brands have nothing to compete with. So it has gone to show that these people can actually produce, we can actually meet up with the demand gaps. Just give them an enabling environment and ease of doing business where these businesses can grow. They can make these things. Just give them the support that is needed, and then we stop importing everything into the country.
Yeah, it is actually a hydra-headed issue, touching different facets of the economy.
And let me just say, before we stop importing, we need to clean up our own houses first, because we can't be buying AMQ and we're not importing.
Exactly. Anyway, Shewa, thank you so much. We know that this story is not going anywhere anytime soon. We believe that we'll still keep our eyes on it. Thank you so much again for bringing us that fantastic.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Shewa.
Thank you.
Now we take this very, very short break, and when we come back, we'll be dipping our eyes into the forecast that will be taking us into the last week of the year 2023. Do stay with us.
And out to our focus stories. The first story here is Guinea mourns after tragic explosion and fire in Conakry. Now, the leader of the military in power, Colonel Mamadi Doumbouya, has declared a 3-day national mourning period starting on the 20th of December, which was yesterday, following the aftermath of a tragic explosion and deadly fire at the main fuel depot in Conakry, Guinea. Now, the mourning is in honor of the 18 lives lost and over 200 individuals injured in the incident that occurred from Sunday night to Monday. The explosion had a severe impact on the Kaloum commune, the central hub of business in Conakry, causing significant material damage and halting economic activities.
All right, from Guinea now, the AFDB pulls out international staff from Addis Ababa in Ethiopia after a breach of diplomatic protocol. Now, the Africa Development Bank announced on Wednesday, December 20, which was yesterday, that they immediately were going to withdraw all of its international staff from Ethiopia. Now, the group said in a statement that the decision is due to the breach of diplomatic protocol and assault by Ethiopian security forces on 2 of the Africa Development Bank's international members of staff. Dr. Akinwumi Adeshino, the group's president, on learning of the incident, contacted the highest level of authority in Ethiopia, demanding the immediate release of the bank's staff members who were assaulted by the country's security forces.
And now, mixed reactions did follow this next story, but in a bid to alleviate the financial strain associated with holiday travels, President Bola Tinubu has given his approval to the introduced measures like free train rides and bus fare reductions to provide relief to its citizens during the festive season. This announcement, made on the 20th of December again, that was yesterday, includes free train rides and a 50% reduction in public bus fares across the country, slated to be in effect from the 21st of December, which is today, to the 4th of January 2024. The move is a collaborative effort with companies operating luxury buses across 22 routes nationwide, seen as a gesture to enhance the well-being of citizens during the festive season. Although they did mention that air travels are not included because their focus is on the masses, and the masses do not plow that route. Anyways, this is a very interesting conversation, but I think it's a welcome development. But anyways, it's been a very beautiful episode.
Yes, it has been a very beautiful episode, and from here, I'd like to say Merry Christmas, blessings.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I'm not feeling the Christmassy vibe yet, but anyways,
very Christmassy. Anyway, thank you so much for staying with us on this last episode before Christmas. My name is Bernard Akede, wishing you an amazing Christmas season.
And my name is Blessings Musugu.